Let's talk about Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, Jerry Jones. I feel like Jerry Jones is the biggest problem with the Dallas Cowboys roster. Jerry Jones gets to draft the team. He gets to pick the players. He gets to pick the coaches. He's the owner, general manager. Pretty much he's the coach for the team as well. We'll get more into that in the next couple of minutes. Jerry Jones has set this team up for failure for this season. You went out there, you extended Dak Prescott, you extended CeeDee Lamb. That's a great thing to do. But when they had that terrible loss against the Green Bay Packers in the NFL playoffs, the first thing that he said a couple months later, I'm going all in. He was lying. He went all in a couple of years ago when he brought in Stephon Gilmore and Brandon Cooks. That was a time for them to go out there and potentially get over the hump and make a realistic Super Bowl push. They don't have the money to go out there and do it now. The NFL draft is over. Free agency is over. And I don't see them making a major trade right now to go out there and bring in pieces to help out this defense. I want to start off with the offense. Dak Prescott is not a bad quarterback, but right now he's not playing up the standard. CeeDee Lamb did miss training camp. He wanted to go out there. He wanted to get paid. They paid him. Dak Prescott's the highest paid player in NFL history. You may laugh at that, but that's just the going rate for NFL quarterbacks. You knew that he was going to get paid a lot of money when you saw Trey Lance go out there and throw the interceptions that he threw in the NFL preseason. Their offense is not bad. I like the offensive lineman that they have. Zach Martin is going to go down as one of the best offensive guards that the NFL has ever seen. You have Cooper Beebe, who I think is going to be an all-pro at the center position. Tyler Guyton is a very good left tackle. I think that he's going to be a franchise left tackle moving forward. I like Tyler Smith a lot as well. But they can't run the freaking football because the running backs are not good. A couple of years ago, they moved off of Ezekiel Elliott because he regressed in speed and explosiveness. And he became just a good 1 to 2 yard running back. That was it. Ezekiel Elliott has a lot to offer if you're in the goal line situation. Rico is their starting running back. He's going to get most of the carries. This was a problem as soon as Tony Pollard left and he went to the Tennessee Titans. The Cowboys did not draft a running back. They did not try to go out there and get Derrick Henry in free agency either. Derrick Henry wanted to play for the Dallas Cowboys. He literally lives in Dallas. He trains in Dallas. It would have been the perfect fit. But they didn't want to do that. They wanted to go get cheaper. They wanted to go with a guy that was a fan favorite. They go with Ezekiel Elliott. Jerry Jones really went out there and he tried to trick the fan base. But some of the fans are smarter than what the national media give them credit for. Fans knew as soon as they brought back Ezekiel Elliott, this isn't the same guy 5-6 years ago. This is a washed up running back that just had a solid year for the Patriots in terms of being a goal line back. Ezekiel Elliott's not going to give you much. You can't give him 20 to 25 carries anymore. And Rico doesn't have the body type for it. So now your run game is not the same. You can do the running back by committee approach, but the running backs aren't that good with this roster. And Deuce Vaughn just doesn't work at this level. In college, was a fun player to watch. In the NFL, not so much. So running backs are a huge issue with this roster, but they knew this for the entire offseason. You have Dalvin Cook as well, another older running back that is not going to help you out either. When I look at the wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb is one of the best wide receivers in the league. I can't say enough good things about Jake Ferguson. I'm a huge Jake Ferguson fan. I may have a bias there, but I think that he can be a star at that tight end position. Wide receivers, besides CeeDee Lamb, it's a huge question mark. Brandon Cooks, at this stage of his career, he's a one-trick pony. Just a deep threat. That's it. He struggled getting acclimated with the Dallas Cowboys system and culture last season. He did not have a true breakout moment until they went against the Los Angeles Rams, and he had 2 receiving touchdowns in that game. And from that point on, he was okay, but he's not a true number 2 anymore. You have Jalen Tolbert. Right now, he's a solid wide receiver. He's not ready to slide in and be the number 2 option just yet. So you only have 2 consistent targets, Jake Ferguson and CeeDee Lamb. When you take those guys away, the Dallas Cowboys offense is very anemic. They can't make a push up front with the running backs that they have. They can't break contact. Now, Rico is solid. I'm not going to try to disrespect him, but he's an average running back at best. He can catch the football at the backfield. He can get you a screen play here and there like how he did last night against the New York Giants. But overall, Jerry Jones failed this roster by not bringing in a brand new running back to help out Dak Prescott. Derrick Henry would have been a perfect fit. And when he says, hey, he was too expensive. Jerry Jones, if you want to go out there and make a realistic push in the playoffs, you have to have a consistent run game and you have to be able to stop the run. You could push the money to the side. You could have let some guys go. I understand Dak Prescott costs a lot of money. Hey, that's just the going rate for quarterbacks in the NFL. So be it. And the same with CeeDee Lamb as well. You should have took care of these deals sooner than you did. You just waited it out. When I look at the defense, their defense has regressed from last season. They struggled against the New York Giants last night. Now, they played very good red zone defense. That's fine. They were very good against the run. That's against the New York Giants. They were not able to get to Daniel Jones on a consistent basis. And that's on a relatively bad Giants offensive line from year to year. Now, the Giants offensive line has improved for this season so far, but Micah Parsons is the only guy that can get to the quarterback on a consistent basis. And right now, he's going to miss the next couple of weeks. He's dealing with an ankle injury. DeMarcus Lawrence, he's going to miss the next couple of weeks as well. He's dealing with a foot injury. And you look at the teams that they have to face within the next 3 to 4 weeks, all of the teams, they love to run the football. Even though they have a 10-day window in terms of going out there and getting rest because they just had a short week, they're still having problems. They got dominated by the New Orleans Saints. They couldn't stop Rashid Shaheed. They couldn't stop Chris Olave. They could not stop Alvin Kamara. You look at what happened the week after that. Lamar Jackson ran all over him with Derrick Henry. This has been a reoccurring problem, not just for the last 2 years, for the past 5 to 6 years. They can't stop the run against elite level competition. Look at what the San Francisco 49ers have done when they had Jimmy Garoppolo at the quarterback position. Look at what the Green Bay Packers have done in the past with Aaron Jones. They just run it down their throat. And then you have coaches like Dan Quinn, they come in, they try to fix the defense, they'll try to stack the box. Next thing you know, you're vulnerable in the secondary. They always choke in the NFL playoffs. And part of that is because they're not prepared, whether it's by coaches or it's just not having enough firepower because of Jerry Jones, who drafts very well. He just doesn't use free agency very well. And I'm going to continue to say this. He said that he was going to go all in this year. He went all in when he brought in Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore. That's when he went all in. When I look at the rushing defense of the Cowboys, even with DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons, it was bad. That 2-game window against the Saints and against the Ravens, it was not pretty. And the linebackers that they have, they don't fit the system to go out there and just completely stop the run for the entire game. The only one that you brought in was Eric Kendricks. That was it. Most of these guys are the same guys you had from last year on Dallas Cowboys roster. It's not that much turnover, except for you depending on rookies. Trevon Diggs comes back. He missed majority of last season dealing with a torn ACL. He's a very good cornerback. Deron Bland goes down in training camp. He hurts his foot. He's still going to miss the next month or so. But if he comes back, you're going to have a very good secondary with him and Trayvon Diggs, and you're going to need that. Kalen Clarkson right now, who did miss last night's game against the New York Giants, he's struggling immensely. He's a rookie. He's not ready to go out there and play. You have a very good defensive backs coach, but Deron Bland and Trayvon Diggs are two very good cornerbacks that can get you pick sixes on any given play. They'll give up big plays here and there, but at least they're reliable cornerbacks to have in that secondary. And I like Jordan Lewis as well. But this front seven is not good. And I can only imagine what it's going to look like without Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. The best chances that the Dallas Cowboys had to realistically go out there and win the Super Bowl is when they went against the Green Bay Packers many years ago. And when Dez Bryant caught the ball and the referees called it back, that was a great shot to go to the Super Bowl and potentially win. And when it was Dak Prescott's and Ezekiel Elliott's rookie season, that was it. And Jerry Jones always comes out. We're going to go all in. We're going to switch the coaches. You can switch the coaches. You can switch the players. You can switch whatever you want. They're having the same results because Jerry Jones is stuck in his ways. He's the problem. They're not going to bring in Bill Belichick. They were never going to bring in a coach like Sean Payton because Jerry Jones wants to have full control of the roster. He wants to have full control of the team. When you look at Robert Kraft, it was hands off of Bill Belichick. You go run the show. I'll just watch from upstairs. Jerry Jones, like I mentioned earlier in the video, he might as well be the coach. A couple of years ago, Mike McCarthy was being very conservative on 4th down. I'll never forget the play. It was a 4th and 4. They punted the football. Jerry Jones comes out right after the game. We should go for it more on 4th down. We should go for 2 more. The next week, Mike McCarthy is going for 2. He's going for it on 4th down. It's the influence that he has. He doesn't let the coaches go out there and fully coach to their potential. He wants to have full control. And when I look at Mike McCarthy, he's not the best coach after this team either. Now, the Dallas Cowboys have been very successful the last 3 years. Yes, they have been. But Mike McCarthy has been given a very good roster. It's a reason why he took a year off from the NFL. That old Green Bay Packers system doesn't work on a week-to-week basis. You'll have certain games that Dak Prescott goes out there, he'll throw for 3 to 4 passing touchdowns. The next week, he'll have 2 passing touchdowns to 3 interceptions, like how he did against the New Orleans Saints, and Mike McCarthy is not trying to help him. And with the lack of having a run game and a true number 2 option at the wide receiving position, is only going to hurt that long term. Not having a run game for any quarterback in the NFL is basically a death wish, because you're making your quarterback go out there and have to throw the football 40 times a game, in certain cases against higher levels of competition. They can't stop the run of the Baltimore Ravens, even though they were coming back in the fourth quarter. But the Ravens played a lot of prevent defense. They're letting them dink and dunk their way down the field. They could not stop the run or the passing attack of the New Orleans Saints. Imagine what's going to happen when they had to face teams like the Philadelphia Eagles, when they had to face a team like the San Francisco 49ers, or even the Green Bay Packers again, or even the Detroit Lions. They'll have a couple games here and there where they look really good. But I can make the case right now, last season, they were better off roster-wise than they are right now. It's just not good enough. And now you have a defensive coordinator that's in over his head. The game has passed him by. And you had the same thing with the head coach as well, in Mike McCarthy. I'm blaming Jerry Jones a lot, but it's on them as well. And it's on the players to step up. But at the end of the day, Jerry Jones controls his organization. He controls every single thing, from the play calls, what he wants to see, everything. Jerry Jones controls it. He moved on from Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett, you can say that he wasn't a good coach. He was a good coach, however you feel about him. He was a terrible offensive coordinator for the Giants. But you're having the same problems that you had with Jason Garrett. You're having those problems right now. And the only thing that's a constant is Jerry Jones. He needs to step aside, but he's not going to. So until something drastically changes with Jerry Jones being in that seat, the Cowboys won't have major playoff success. It's been over 20 years since they went out there and had major postseason success. It may be going on 30 years. As long as Jerry Jones is in that seat, nothing is going to change. We've seen very good rosters. When they had guys on the roster like Tony Romo, solid quarterback, Dez Bryant, one of the best wide receivers in Cowboys history, Terrence Williams, DeMarco Murray, they had an amazing roster. They came up short. And we're seeing the same thing now. They had Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott when he was in his prime, a young CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. Nothing to show for it. It's the same thing over and over again. And I understand sometimes franchises just get unlucky. They can draft their butt off. Jerry Jones is a drafter. He definitely has an eye for talent. And his son does as well. Because many years ago, instead of going with Zach Martin, they're going to go with Johnny Manziel. Shout out to Stephen Jones for telling Jerry Jones to not do that. Because if he did, no telling where this franchise would be right now. They have an eye for talent for the draft. In terms of free agency, they're just too cheap. They want to draft their guys, pay them, develop them, and go in. That's it. They don't want to go on the outside and bring in talent. And when they do, Jerry Jones says, hey, he was too expensive. Derrick Henry was not too expensive. Jerry Jones was too cheap to bring him in. The Ravens basically got him for a cheap 2-year deal. The Cowboys could have easily matched that. And you bring in more help for your franchise quarterback. You want to go all in? That's what you do. And if you don't want to go all in, don't make that statement and have Dallas Cowboy fans give up their hopes, like how they have been for the last 5 to 6 years, dealing with this roster and dealing with this team as a whole. But let me know in the comment section below how you guys feel about the Dallas Cowboys, and can they turn their season around with Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. God bless. Peace.